Hey guys, this is Nick. Welcome to the back porch for a special nighttime update. As you can see, it's pitch black out here. I've actually got a lamp outside with me so that way I can enjoy sitting outside. I'm waiting on a friend of mine to send me a message. We're going to Zoom and smoke pipes together and catch up. He's a pastor friend of mine, but I have a new video for you guys dropping here in a couple days, and I also thought what I would do is just check out this YouTube recording live thing and just do a fun, just really quick kind of update. I'm stumbling all over my words, right? Because usually I take the time to edit and trim and do all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But I mentioned in a few videos ago about the fact that I haven't really done anything with the church fathers. I'm a huge fan of the patristics. I love the era of the early church. I love, especially those first few hundred years. One of my big interests, especially in my seminary degree, is looking at how the early church practiced the faith, and really how have we gotten away from it. And especially as a Baptist pastor, we try to do a lot of things a lot of times that seem so far away from Catholicism that we're uncomfortable with it, right? Or at least traditionally we're uncomfortable with it. But there's some things I really feel like we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. So my thing is, what has the early church done, or what did the early church do that we could, in good practice and in good faith, continue to practice? But so I'm really interested in the early church, especially those first 400, 500, 600 years of the faith. But regarding the church fathers, one of my favorites is Ignatius of Antioch. He's one of the early church fathers. He ends up being martyred in Rome. He's thrown to the lions, actually. And as he's arrested, he's the bishop of Antioch, but he's arrested, and on his way to Rome, he stops at these different towns and different cities and everything else, especially in his diocese. And he is meeting with Christians, and of course, obviously, they're giving him food, they're encouraging him and everything else. But as he's riding on the way, he writes 7 letters to 7 different churches. And one of my favorite quotes from him comes from his letter to the church in Rome. And this is just a quick paragraph. I just wanted to read it to you and talk about it real quick. But I love this. And he says this. He says, "I write to the churches and impress upon them all that I shall willingly die for God unless you hinder me. I beseech of you not to show an unseasonable goodwill towards me. Allow me to become food for the wild beasts, through whose instrumentality it will be granted to me to attain to God. I am the wheat of God, and let me be ground by the teeth of the wild beasts, that I may be found to be the pure bread of Christ. Rather entice the wild beasts, that they may become my tomb, and may leave nothing of my body, so that when I have fallen asleep in death, I may be no trouble to anyone. Then shall I truly be a disciple of Christ, when the world shall not see me so much as my body. Entreat Christ for me, that by these instruments I may be found a sacrifice to God. I do not, as Peter and Paul, issue commandments unto you. They were apostles. I am but a condemned man. They were free, while I am, even until now, a servant. But when I suffer, I shall be the freed man of Jesus, and shall rise again emancipated in him. And now being a prisoner, I learn not to desire anything of worldly gain." I love this paragraph. I especially love the fact when he makes this comment, "I am the wheat of God, and let me be ground by the teeth of the wild beast, that I may be found to be the pure bread of Christ." And the way I've always understood that and always heard it taught is that basically what he's saying is, let me be eaten by these animals, so that way I will become wheat that can be made into the bread of the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. And I love this. And then this moment later in this paragraph where he says, if he is fallen asleep in death, the moment when he dies, then shall I truly be a disciple of Christ. This is just a beautiful, beautiful letter. But I love his letters. I love Ignatius. Love the early church fathers, especially the apostolic fathers. They're amazing. So anyway, thought I would try this update and wanted to share that with you guys. And hopefully there will be more church father readings to come. Y'all take care.